Hello, and welcome to my new moon in Leo tarot card reading. It is Sunday, August 8th. It is the Lionsgate 8/8 portal today, as well as this new moon in Leo. So there is some exciting, powerful energy that is opening and expanding today. And so we're going to tune in together and pull some cards and see what there is to look at. I have my dog Star sitting at my feet, chewing on a bone, and I absolutely love the symbolism of that right now. I think many of us have been chewing on some bones for a while and sitting in this space of like trying to figure things out, trying to work through whatever it is that we've been wrestling. And today I have the sense things might start to lighten up. We might start to get some answers. We might start to see some clarity. And all of us tuning into it together, I think just amplifies the power. So happy 8/8 portal. Happy new moon in Leo. Let's play. Let's play. All right. I pull 3 cards. I have my notes over here. Last month for the new moon in Cancer. Collective now, we have the card of understanding, which was the bird about to leave the cage, not realizing there never had been a cage. It's the whole setup of the energy. The individual now was friendliness, 2 trees side by side. And I talked about how when we're independently strong and healthy in our own right, and then we can partner with others, the trees are both able to flourish instead of where we're interwoven and pulling each other down and one needs to take care of the other. And there's all this enabling that happens. When 2 strong, healthy trees are side by side, they both flourish. And so individually, how have we worked on that from the last lunar cycle until now, the last new moon until now? And then the highest possibilities, this was so cool. If you haven't seen this from last month, maybe go back and watch it. There's this beautiful card called Guidance, and it showed this sort of angelic being that was carrying us to another realm of consciousness, and the one that was being carried, representing each of us or all of us together, was kind of looking back at the past like, no, I don't want to leave that, but there's this gorgeous new vista opening up. And so the highest possibilities last new moon in Cancer was, can we follow that? Can we allow ourselves to be carried to another portal, another realm, another awareness? Knowing where we're going is beautiful, and not be so attached to looking backwards. And then more wisdom from our guides. So you can go back and watch last month if you haven't seen it yet, and then maybe do a review. Like if that was the message last month and now here we are, how did that play out for you? How did it resonate, and which parts of it were able to guide you? And then we're here. So I am going to pull 3 cards from the Osho Zen Tarot deck, which is a very well-worn stack of cards in my hand. The book is just papered because I keep bending it and looking things up. I've been using this deck for years. Okay, so I've already shuffled all my cards. We're just going to straighten them because they were kind of messy. We're going to pull 3 cards and then I'll dive into the energy I read of each of them. Okay, for the collective now. So good. Going with the flow. Do we not all need this? Going with the flow. We'll talk about that in a moment. Collective now, the individual now. New vision. We've had this one before. New vision. Isn't that beautiful? Individually. And then the highest possibilities for the next lunar cycle. Sharing. Oh, this card. This card is so good. I don't know if we've had it before, but highest possibilities, you guys. Things are looking up. Things are looking up. All right, we're going to kind of explore them and take our time while we're doing that. I have East Forest music playing in the background. I don't know if you can hear it. It's the Mushrooms album that is just phenomenal. If you haven't explored it yet, pure magic. It's 5 hours of East Forest creations, and I play it pretty much all the time here in my office. It's amazing. All right, going with the flow. Let's look at this. So, what's interesting right away? Well, why don't you look at it first and see what you notice? See what jumps out at you first. And then here's what I sense immediately. So we are sitting in a new moon in Leo that is sandwiched by a full moon in Aquarius last month and a full moon in Aquarius this month, which is very rare. I believe when I looked up not very rare, but it goes in cycles and many years apart. I believe the last time this happened was 2013 and maybe 2002. And so the guidance that I kept getting in my own meditation was look at the pattern. Look at the cycle, what was happening then and what was happening the cycle before that. And you can keep going backwards if you really want to see patterns in your own journey. But look at how there's all this blue energy, this water energy in between as we sit at a new moon in Leo, which is very much to me fire energy. I wore my red shirt on behalf of Leo energy. So here we have all this blue and this water. I feel like this is the message I get from this is go with the flow that's being created from the last full moon in Aquarius to this next upcoming full moon in Aquarius. So something was activated 2 weeks ago, and it's going to carry you into something that will complete or open to a next awareness, the next full moon in Aquarius. So go with the flow in between. This is the collective now. Allow the energy of these 2 full moons to carry us collectively from one point to the next point. So this card talks a lot about going with the current instead of trying to swim upstream, allowing yourself to just be carried and guided by where life is going to take you. It immediately also makes me think of the book, The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer, which will rock your world if you haven't read it. He pretty much he says yes to everything. And then he just has all these crazy, amazing things happen to him. And his life is just this incredible journey. I don't know that I live that way, but this idea that we can trust where life is taking us and allow ourselves to be held by the momentum of what is happening collectively. Don't fight it. Don't resist it. Don't pedal upstream, right? Just allow the current to take us where it's going to. So I'll expand on that just for a moment before I move to the individual now. There are so many divisions and issues and ways that we can separate and divide ourselves within humanity at this time. There are polarizing parties who have very different opinions about politics and government and medicine and health and wellness and finances and education. I mean, you could go on and on and on. We have so many camps that are firmly set up and established in their stories, and they are not budging. And we will stick with our narrative until what? Right? I don't even know if any of us see where we'll ever change our mind. We have our opinions about what we have our opinions about, and that is what it is. And we're not going to change. And so how can this be a collective message when it seems like there are currents, like one current would take you here and another current would take you there, and you don't get to go to both currents. You have to choose. You have to choose which way you're going. And so how is there one path and one current? It looks like this to me. It's like we don't see from our human minds, I believe, how each one of these individual pathways, you can see all these different currents of color, whites and blues. Like we don't see that they all actually harmonize and take us to this one place right here. Let me back up. I don't know if I'm saying this very well. If let's say this one here is, I agree with medicine. And this one here is, I do not agree with medicine. And this one here says, I believe all countries should be separate and do whatever they want individually. And this one says, I believe all countries should work together and the world should be one energy. It looks like there's no way those currents could be harmoniously taking us to one place here if we're going in this direction. Maybe you see it as going this direction. It doesn't really make a difference. It's the idea of the current. Let's say we're floating this way. Each one of these currents represents a different belief system or a different stance on whatever issue you have. So here you are in the middle and you're in your one current. And you believe all those other currents must be taking people somewhere else because they can't all be similar or harmonious. This card to me seems to say, as a collective now message, allow all of these currents to carry you wherever they're going to take you, because down here, downstream, we're all going to arrive at the same place. And it doesn't really matter what decisions you've made. It doesn't matter which political party you align with. It doesn't matter which group you're in or not in. All groups will come down to this place right here. And so we're all getting carried to this one moment, this one location. So for now, just go with the flow. Go with the flow. When we're in this, when we're in the water and it looks like it could just start going, right? There's no way we're all going here. We're about to drown in this like insanity. That's not the big picture. I don't believe at all that that's what is happening. I believe if we just follow our own flow, follow our own current, trust that it's taking us, all of us will arrive at some future point where there's one beautiful, peaceful place of energy. We just can't see it yet because we're in the water. We're in the current, and the current doesn't look like it's aligning with all the other currents. So if you got all that coded energy, everything's okay. Collectively now, let's just go with the flow and let's see where the current is going to take us. Yeah, so chill, everybody. Chill, back float for a little bit. Don't try fight. Don't try like put your energy into a frenzy, because then all you're going to do is start creating your own little whirlwind within this water. Just lean back, allow. Don't try to control everyone around you. Don't try to control what the world is doing. Just be in the flow and trust that there is a much bigger purpose, a much bigger plan playing out than what we are aware of. Conserve your energy for yourself and your own flow. Don't create all choppiness. It doesn't serve. I mean, or do what you want. This is just the message. Maybe that's one of the messages we'll ask our guides is, does it serve to like do some choppiness in the water? Tell us about that. Okay, individual now. Let's move on. Individual now, new vision. So what do you notice about the card? Look at it first for yourself and see what comes through. Like what do you see first? This card is so powerful. I mean, there's just so much inside of it. Yeah, it's a major arcana card. Okay, so what I see, which is highly new to me or unusual for me, I normally go right to this character that's like, yes, new vision, warrior, show me the way. What I saw today, can you see this person down here that's like crawling? That's underneath this one who is now standing. Isn't that amazing? So what do you notice about the one who is crawling? Like, is there anything that pops out to you? It reminds me of yoga moves when I look at it in this way. So there's that one yoga position where you're like this and you lean your back down and you stretch your back up. Cat cow, is that what cat something? You like arch your back, you know, in and out, and you strengthen the energy that's moving up and down your spine, and you keep your gaze either looking forward or looking up, but you're moving all this energy right here at this third chakra. And you're just activating this spinal column. It feels like as we do that, as we have this motion of awakening, it gives us the force, the momentum to then stand up, right? It's like when you do sun salutations and there's the sequence that you follow, you look up and then you lean down and then you look up and then you go down to the downward dog, or down to the, what is that called? The plank. And then you do the upward dog, downward dog. You know, you do all these different movements and then you stand back up again. It's like a sequence. That's what I sense here. It's a sequence. That's the word. The individual now. It's like we're moving through a sequence. And so some of us are still in this crawling along, trying to figure it out, trying to see where we're going, activating this awakening in the third chakra, getting the spinal column energy moving. So sometimes we look up, sometimes we look down. Sometimes we feel strong, sometimes we feel weak. We're on all fours just trying to make it through life. But from this energy, what starts to activate the sequence is this next level, which is I will stand up strong. I will open my heart chakra. I will stretch myself as wide as I can. And instead of looking down or straight ahead, I look up to the stars. I have this next level of sequence. And then to me, because it looks sort of holographic or 3D, 5D-ish, it's like the person, and then this gets activated behind it. The triangle activates the circle. And then there's this explosion of consciousness, right? But it started from the sequence of this, of crawling along and trying to get our energy strong enough that we could stand up and open our heart and our soul and our eyes to the universe. And then the sequence would come back, right? Just like in sun salutation. When we open our heart and we look up at the stars, this explosion of consciousness happens and all that energy comes back into this one. It comes all the way down into the earth. So part of this new vision for me, it feels like we don't all have to get to the vision at the same time. We don't all have to have a massive awakening in the same moment. We're all going through our own sequence, each one of us individually, because this was the individual now card. Each one of us individually is somewhere along this sequence, somewhere of awakening and bringing it back, bringing that light and that consciousness back down to earth. And so it's okay. It's all impacting all of us. We're all involved in this new vision. It's not just the ones who are here with the, these downloads from source. It's everyone in the sequence is part of the sequence. It's part of the new vision. So probably, I'm guessing, if you're watching this video and you're interested in tarot and you're interested in energy and you follow what I do, you're somewhere up here is my guess. Like, you've already got your heart open, you're standing on the ground and you're just like, bring it. Download, please. Let me receive all that light and energy on the 8-8 portal. Like, zoom. But you are side by side with all of these others who are still beginning their awakening, who are still just trying to get through life and figure out what's happening in their third chakra and what's going on with this awakening of consciousness and what is this, right? Like, how many people who are just starting to awaken see this, have a flash of a vision or a moment where they're like, there's another whole reality. Like, the stars talk to humans. What? I need to put my head back down and just keep crawling. It's too much. It's too much to think that this could be happening. I'm going to be right here. I mean, we've all been here. I've had so many moments of that along my path where I kind of like, peek up and I'm like, oh, what's that? No. Right. And we come back and we just keep suffering, keep following the path. But man, when you start to anchor in your energy and put your feet solidly on the earth and like get in your body and like feel your power and feel like the possibility of this third and heart chakra just being like wide open to the universe. When you're in that, like, you're invincible. You're infinitely embodied, right? This is what I teach. You are infinitely embodied. You can allow your entire soul to come down and into your human form. And you're like, yeah, let me tell you what I see. Let me tell you what I know. And how can it come through so clearly? Because I'm in my body, because I'm connected to this planet, because I'm aware that there's all these layers of things happening, that there are these who are still feeling like they're suffering and struggling. And there's all this sacred geometry and light and energy that wants to come in. And I'm ready for that. I am in my body, soul embodied. Right? All this wisdom comes in. New vision. And then you have all these amazing people who are like, let me tell you what I see and what I know and what's possible. And your Instagram feed gets filled up with like cool people. That's how it's happening. That's the sequence. And wherever you are along the path, it's perfect. Wherever everybody else is along the path, it's perfect. Why? Because we're all going with the flow and we're all going to arrive at some new vision somewhere down here together, and it's all going to be cohesively one. We just can't see it yet. And so in the middle of it if you just take a quick look at this card, it looks like chaos. It looks like, right? But when you start to examine the layers, it's magic. It's just magic. So let's go to the highest possibilities. I'm going to hold this while I take a sip. Highest possibilities for the next lunar cycle. What do you notice first? What do you see? Yeah. So this card, I'll tell you a little nugget about this card. I've received this card in meditation many times. I will see this image and I've pulled the card, and it's always in response to this friend I had who passed. His name was Raphael. I've talked about him in lots of my work places, so you've probably heard about him before. But he would show me this card and he would say, I mean, the words I would keep hearing is, you just always keep sharing. You give and then you receive, and then you give and then you receive. And so you just keep sharing whatever comes through, whether that's information, wisdom, energy, physical things, food, hugs, books, time, like whatever it is, you just always keep sharing. And there's this abundant flow of love and source energy that will just continually keep moving through, and you'll never run out, and you'll never be depleted. I connect this definitely to being infinitely embodied. When you are in your body, when your soul is so present in your human journey, and you're here, you're not out in space like trying to figure things out, you're like right here. When that happens, the flow of energy that comes in. So I usually see energy coming in through the crown, running down through the chakras, down to the feet, and then connecting us to the earth. I just like that flow, and then flowing back up, right? So it's just this easy movement of energy up and down. Doesn't mean that's how you see it. It's just how I see it. What I see, it's kind of like this. So if the energy is always coming down and in through this one and connecting this person all the way down to the earth, this light around the edge, there's a never-ending stream of it. Like, let's imagine this is the energy aura of this human. So here's the human, this size. Here's the energy aura around the human, represented by the clothes, and then this beautiful image behind the head. Around that is just this constant flow of light. So if you picture, like, this is my energy field around me, right? Let's say a couple feet outside of my physical body. From source to my crown is just this never-ending stream of light and love and connection and support. And so I never get depleted. There's just always going to be more coming through to me, and it's love and support specifically for me. And so I can just run that through my feet into the earth. And I'm just this conduit. I've talked about this in my work, just being this conduit of energy. It just moves through. There's no worry that there won't be more that comes in. So it's not like I start the day and I go, okay, I've got source love and light coming into my head, and it's going to end by 10 a.m. So I'd better sit still and load myself up, because at 10 o'clock it's going to cut off and I won't have any more. No, it's just constantly flowing through. And so I don't worry about, will I run out of energy? Will I run out of time? I talk about that sometimes, right? There's never enough time. I won't get things done. But it's like, it's just a mental quick concern that just moves through, and then more energy just keeps flowing through me. And so life becomes like you're seeing here, life just becomes very peaceful and I don't know, like abundance. How do you even describe it? So perhaps this image will help. So you see all the different designs in the background. If this is the human, and this is let's say this is a girl, it could be a girl or a guy. let's say this is a girl, and here is this energy field that she holds around her physical body. All of this here is the wisdom from the universe that she just constantly has access to. It's not like she only has this one for Tuesday and then this one for Wednesday. Then she gets this one on Saturday. It's like all this wisdom is just always around. And so she can keep her focus on making bread and preparing a meal for someone. And all of that wisdom flows through her and into the bread. And so everything she makes is like filled with love, and it just tastes delicious, and it's all so easy. She could be focusing just on holding this light. So maybe you see how it's right at the edge of her energy field too. It's like she can go between humans and individuals by holding this light and saying, what do you want to see? How do I help you? What's going on in your dark experience right now that needs some light brought in so you can see it more clearly? Doesn't mean you have to step out of the darkness if you're in it. You just can see what's actually there and true, and then make choices. And so she can be focused right here on the light and sharing it, and all this wisdom is still fully available to her. And there's all this here waiting to come in and create the next design. See how it's that yellow color? And these are all yellow. It just comes right through her energy field and fills up more designs. And so she never runs out of designs. She never runs out of wisdom. And then she can be in this like cloaked energy where she just is dressed with one solid color. Or she could be like all these multifaceted, multidimensional currents of energy moving through her, and the light shows that to you. It's like words. It's like there's so much that is happening, but she's not focusing on all the stuff that's happening. She's focusing on looking right at the individual, holding the plate of food, shining the light, being in the beauty of all of this. She's not trying to grab all the designs or pull all that yellow in or carry someone, or like she's just in the bliss of her experience and then sharing it. That's what the highest possibilities are for the next lunar cycle. When you go with the flow, you just know there's always going to be plenty, and we're all moving to that same end point. So just share what you've got. Share your time, share your love, share your information, share your grand designs and wisdom. Like, you don't have to hold on to everything, because even if somebody takes this bread, let's say somebody very hungry is across from her, and here she is in all of her bliss, and they're like, I'm so hungry, I need the bread. And so they just snatch the bread from her and they run off and they go eat the bread all by themselves. She's like, all right, I'll go make some more bread, because I've got all this energy and resources that will just come in and provide what I need. I'm not worried that if you take that bread, I'm going to be depleted. I'll go make more bread. And she takes her light over to the kitchen and she makes more bread. And then she comes back and she holds the bread to see like who else is ready for more bread. It's just such a different way to be than the competitiveness and the greed and the grabbiness, that so many of us have. Like, this is mine and I will hold this, and you don't get to have this, because if you have it, I don't have it. This card says, share it, because if you take it, more will come in, and I'll give you that too, because more will come behind that. We're just always going to have more. So don't be so worried, right? It is a frequency, a vibration, a feeling inside of yourself that creates this energetic grid and this abundance around you. I've been reading so many books lately that just talk about this. It's an abundance mindset. It doesn't even maybe manifest yet. So maybe you are holding this one piece of bread and you're like, that is all the bread I have. I don't have more stuff in the kitchen to make more bread, but I am going to sit here in this mindset that I am willing to share, because I believe that the universe or source or my soul or consciousness or whoever is going to provide more for me. Like, I believe this mentality. And so you offer it, someone takes it, they share it. your kitchen still feels like it's empty, but you go back and trust to look at your kitchen, and there's a person standing there who's brought ingredients so you can make more bread together, because your abundance mindset is creating a different reality. How long is the time between when someone takes that bread from you because you offered it to them and they took it because you said they could, and you're back in the kitchen waiting for more ingredient? How long is that time? I don't know. I don't know. That's the mystery of this whole idea of sharing, right? Is it direct? Is it immediate? Will I give and then receive immediately? This is law of attraction. How fast is it going to be before I get that thing because I did this one thing? I don't know. I don't know. That's the magic of being on Earth. Earth is a place where time is one of the factors. Co-creation. We're all doing this together. But this feeling, this way of being, is so much more fun than being in lack. Because when you go back to the kitchen to see if there's more ingredients, you never know what's going to happen. You have no idea, because someone else's current is carrying them simultaneously next to yours. And so you don't know who's going to bump into your current up here. You have no idea what's going to happen in the kitchen. I mean, talk about surprises and delights. Let's allow more of that instead of being in lack and pulling everything into our own space and holding it for ourselves. It's a more fun way to live. A little more exhilarating, adrenaline rush, perhaps, as you adjust to it. But that's also the surrender experiment. He just constantly trusted, I'll give you everything I got because something else is going to come behind it. I don't know what that is, but I'm willing to play, right? Willing to play. So apparently the new moon in Leo message is, this is the highest possibility for the next lunar cycle. Start sharing your time, sharing your love, sharing your wisdom, sharing your heart, sharing your physical gifts with people. Like, start sharing. All right, let's go to wisdom from our guides. So if this is the message for all of us, right? Go with the flow. Focus on the new vision. We're all going through the sequence together, and then share. Let's all focus on sharing. We are going to ask our guides, starting with our friend Deb in Australia, who is just rocking it down there with expressing her voice. I'm so proud of her. This is her deck, the Vine of the Mystic. Amazing, beautiful little characters that are just speaking to us through the plants as I play the mushroom music in the background. All right, so we are asking our guides. We would like wisdom at this new moon in Leo that is sandwiched by 2 full moons in Aquarius, with all of this consciousness and futuristic vision and new vision, new grids, new everything shifting. Like, what can we get as guidance about the new moon? Leo, don't forget, I'm sure you know if you're watching my videos, but Leo is very much about being fully brilliant, fully unique, expressing your individuality, shining your light so that we can see you. All right, so let's ask for wisdom on, what do we want to know? Yeah, maybe let's ask in this one, how do we go with the flow and stay in our own current, trusting it's taking us somewhere amazing so that we don't get caught in the swirl? How do we stay in our own flow? Which is perfect, because that's exactly what Deb is doing. How do we stay in our own flow? Let's take card number 3. 1, 2, 3. You squeeze. How do you stay in your own flow? You squeeze. Isn't that great? Oh my God, that's so funny. I talked about squeezing in the last Guy's Love podcast. If you watched it, I talked about how we are all going through a squeeze right now. And yeah, you'll have to watch the podcast to get the message, but I use the word squeeze often. So what do you notice as you look at this beautiful little character? I'm gonna go close to her face, see if you can see. Yeah, it looks like she has a boa constrictor around her, doesn't she? All right, let's see number 42. See what Deb has to say. I don't think we've had this one from her before. All right, let me show you the card. Oh, it's the last one in the deck. So cool. Last card in the deck. Doesn't that feel symbolic right now? Squeeze. What appears overwhelming is not. It's all an illusion. Oh my God, this is a perfect card. It's all an illusion. The battle is an internal process. It is necessary and you will prevail. We have to change our form to transform. The transformation happens from the outside in and from the inside out. What is no longer required will fall away. Oh my God, that is so perfect. Isn't that so amazing? The transformation happens from the outside in and from the inside out. What is no longer required will fall away. So think about that, how it feels like life is giving us this big squeeze, right? We are being suffocated by the boa constrictor of humanity and issues and divisions and separations. Like, we're being squeezed. And as that squeeze happens, it forces us to like figure out what's actually going on inside of here, because everything gets so tight. And then what, right? Like, you got to get rid of the boa constrictor. You got to pop, you got to unsqueeze. You have to like push yourself out and be big and get rid of this boa constrictor that has squeezed you. You have to express yourself. You have to express yourself. So if going with the flow, it's the same sort of idea as the boa constrictor, right? The boa constrictor is like tied around us. Going with the flow is you follow the current. You follow the current. There's no moving into another. You are going with the flow where it's going to carry you. And then you express your new vision. It's moving. This card to me represents moving from here to here. How do you make that transformation? The squeeze of the outside pushing into your inside is going to create this explosion. They call it a tower moment, right? In tarot, a tower moment or breakthrough moment where everything just suddenly pops open. And then you're in a new place. How did that happen? It happened through the squeeze. Beautifully said. Thank you, Deb. So good. So good. So aligned with the new moon in Leo. Like, that's amazing. All right, two more cards. Two more cards, and then I'm going to go make a meditation. Whew. A lot of energy in that. Okay, the Light Seers Tarot is the next card. We're going to pull from here, and then from the, what is that one called? The Mystical Shaman Oracle. Totally blanked on the name. Mystical Shaman Oracle deck will be the last one we use. Okay, from the Light Seers. So our question for Deb's card was, how do we go with the flow? And we go with the flow by feeling the squeeze, which allows the transformation. So noticing what's happening on the outside external world and how that's impacting your internal dialogue, your internal experience, until you're clear. And then you pop open that internal expression and you're in a new vision, you're in a new place. So in this card, let's ask for more information about the new vision, right? If this is the sequence that we're going through and all of us are somewhere along that sequence, what wisdom would our guides offer us about that sequence that we're moving through, about the new vision? Let's go with card number 3 again. 1, 2, 3. Oh, beautiful. 6 of Pentacles. What do you notice about this card? This is so perfect. Tell us about the new vision was our question. Offer us some wisdom. What wisdom do you think our guides are showing us? So the first thing I see is the 8. Do you see that? The hourglass, the infinity symbol, this loop that is constantly connecting us with the divine, with the unseen. So this hand to me looks like our guides dropping pentacles, which to me always feel like abundance. It's like they're saying, here's another one. Here's another one. And they just keep dropping these pentacles right at the connection point from above down to us here on earth. And we're just holding our hands out like, I know you've got more. I know there's more coming. What else do you want to show me and tell me? And they drop another pentacle down. And what's beautiful, I'm just going to run with this because it's so clear to me. So when our guides give us the pentacle, it's coded with the sacred geometry. It looks like there's all these little edges of light sort of reflecting out from this. It's like they take the light of the top part of the hourglass and put it into the pentacle. So the pentacle's radiating all this energy and light. And then as it comes down to us, we can barely see that there's anything coded in it. It just looks like a little ball of magic dropping on our hands. Here, this one, you can see the flower of life, like this beautiful geometry. But like we can't always see when they're giving us the gift here. We can't even sometimes fully touch it. Like it hasn't landed yet. It hasn't landed yet, but it's on its way to us. And so this is what I was saying about when you give the piece of bread, and then you have to go back to the kitchen to make more. What's the time between when you give the bread and when you go make more? How long, or when someone is there with the supplies you need to make more? Like, what's that time gap between giving it away and receiving what you need to replenish so you can keep sharing? I don't know. That's what's happening here. They've got their hands firmly. Our guides are saying, I've got it, and it is coming right to you here, dropping it down. And we're here like, we don't see it yet. We can't hold it or feel it. Where is it? Right? Like wine. I do this all the time. I'm like, why isn't it here yet? Right? Big whiners. We're all like that in the human realm. We're like, why is it taking so long? But it's right here. And look, there's more. There's more coming. And we don't even know what's up here. How much more is going to be handed down through? How much can we actually hold in our hands? That's the message of sharing. How much can you actually hold in your hands? Only a few of them. So give it away. Like share it. Share whatever it is that's coming through, because as you share it, you make more room in your hands for the next round to start coming into your hands to be shared. I mean, can you imagine? This is one of my big daydream things is, can you imagine if Jeff Bezos decided, what do I need with all my money? I don't need to go to the billionaire conference that Russell Brand has talked about in such comedy. I don't need to go and play golf and talk about the next deal I'm going to make. I cannot do a Russell Brand imitation. He did a great parody on what's happening at the billionaire conference. It's not even a conference, the billionaire get together. What if Jeff Bezos, what if this is his hand and he's like, I can't hold this much money anymore. It's too much in my hand. My hand is tired. And I don't want to go shake hands with all the other billionaires. Maybe it's his wife, ex-wife. Maybe that's where it will happen. She is saying, it's too much money. I can't hold it anymore. And so I'm going to go give it away. I'm going to go share it. And they start sprinkling money around in places that have their hands out saying, we need support. We need help. We don't have bread. We don't have clean water. We are in this place of needing the support and being available for it. And we've been asking our guides for it. And oh, thank you, Mrs. X Bezos, for receiving the sharing card message. Distribute the wealth in other ways. And let's see what happens when energy is shared through money and through contributions. What if it's just constantly flowing through? And those who've had their hands out now start to practice, like, what is it like to receive? Can I have a new vision? When I get an influx of money, does my vision change? Do I have new contributions that I would bring to humanity and to Earth because my basic needs are now met? You bet that'll happen, right? And so if we're sharing, knowing each one of us, Mrs. X Bezos will also know there's more coming. I've manifested this already. There's more that's going to arrive. So I don't need to hold on tightly to any of this because I know the process. I know there's this infinite loop of energy. And I can feel how my guides are constantly supporting me and showing me how to create more wealth. And I have this abundance mindset. And so I know I'm not going to run out. And I'm just going to receive more. And as more comes in, now I'm going to start playing and having fun with what gets created. Now I'm going to co-create new visions with new people because they have the money that I distributed to them and they're doing something cool with it. And now we're all going to start playing together. I mean, wouldn't that be fun? Right? What if many of us at this new moon in Leo tap into the possibility of the guides of those with lots of wealth sort of tickling their hands and going, loosen the grip, take it out of your bank accounts and distribute the wealth in new ways and see what happens. See how it feels. See how it feels to transform people's lives through the gift of abundance. How that abundance mindset is magnifying, because now instead of one person here having this connection with source and the guides and tapping into this frequency of wealth, instead of it just being one billionaire, it's a billion humans who have that abundance mindset because they just got this influx of money. Now we have a billion guides working with a billion humans who are like, let's play. You figured this out. Let's play. What should we do? How should we co-create? Are you ready for another pentacle? Are you ready to hold a little bit more? Let's see, right? Isn't it amazing that we can get all that from one card, one little image? Chris Ann, who created this deck, so wise. So wise. All right. So Six of Pentacles. And also you can go, she has a really cool website, Chris Ann does. If you go to thelightseerstarot.com, I think that's what it is. She has each of the cards. Well, you can pick a card, which is super fun, right? But she also has all of the cards with a full page about each one. So you can go look up the Six of Pentacles on the lightseerstarot.com. And there's a whole page with like questions to journal about and what her feeling was as she was creating it and what the message of the card is. And there'll be another whole layer of magic for you to play with and unfold. So you got some homework. Go to the website and then see what she says. Because how cool is that to get more information? Our question was, what is there for us to know about the new vision? And the answer was Six of Pentacles. So I gave you my interpretation. Go to her website, look at that card, and then see what else is there for you to know. What do you get? Whoops. We're not going to pull that because I don't pull cards that way. We're going to choose a card. We're not going to let it like fall out of the deck, because if I start trusting that, I'm going to have cards flying all over the place, and I don't want to play like that. I like when I got a nice little counting that's going on. It seems way more structured to me. Anyway, your homework assignment, go to Lightseers Tarot and see what you receive about the Six of Pentacles and what that means for your individual new vision, not just the collective. All of us individually have new visions. What about your new vision? Where are you in the sequence? What downloads are waiting to come to you? And see what Chris Ann's card tells you. Okay. Last card. This new moon in Leo. 8-8 feels good. Feels good. The sun is shining though, and I want to go outside and lay by the pool. So we are going to pull one more card and then wrap it up. Let's pull the third card again. Oh, I didn't show you, did I? Where's the book? Mystical Shaman Oracle deck. Look at those eyes. Look at the third eye between those eyes. This deck is good. Okay, so we pulled one card, two cards, third card. Earth. Yes. Yes. Let's talk about Gaia. Oh, wait, we didn't ask. Did we ask a question? That's so funny. We didn't ask a question, did we? We just pulled a card. I feel like the question would be, hold on, super excited here. The first card of Wisdom from Our Guides answered, how do we go with the flow? The second card of wisdom from our guides answered the second card, which was new vision. So I feel like this card was what is there to know about sharing? How do we share more? What is there to know about sharing? Earth. Earth. Yay. This card. Oh, this card makes me so happy. What do you see first as you look at this card? Anything you notice? Is it the eyes? Kind of. It's not really the same, but similar, right? So what do you see? Let me bring it a little closer here. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Okay, so you see the face, right? You do see the face. If not, you need to look again, but there's a face in here. Okay, so what would I tell you? What would I tell you about Earth? Okay, if this is wisdom from our guides and we're asking about sharing and the answer is Earth, I feel like the message is that is the consciousness of Earth. It is to share. The Earth shares with us everything. She shares her water. She shares her land. She shares her air. She shares the trees. She shares the sounds, the frequency, the consciousness. It's all about sharing. That's co-creation on our planet. We come here to co-create, to share with each other, to share our energy, to share our words, to share our vibration, to share love, right? Like we come here to have that experience of sharing. And then we forget. We forget and we start to hold on and hoard and, keep it all to ourselves and bicker and fight. This is mine, it's not yours, right? Like we play these games. And so what is there to know about sharing from our guides? Let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to the original contract, which is you came here because Earth is sharing with you. You're here to share with Earth. So that's the pathway to having more abundance. Earth has an abundance mindset. So learn from the Earth, right? Sometimes we just talked about this in one of my groups. Sometimes in a forest, you have everything burned to the ground and it looks like the end of the world. It looks like destruction. It looks like you've lost everything. If your home was in the middle of the fire. What happens though in a forest is when all of that is burned to the ground, there's this process of regeneration that begins. Again, there's time, so it could be years, it could be a lifetime, but there's this regeneration that begins, and then new is birthed. Something new is formed from the base of the fire of the forest. That's the beauty, right? Wherever we are in the sequence, it's a constant flow. So we're going to eventually connect to light and source, and we're going to eventually look at the Earth doing. The Earth is like, yep, I'm right behind you. We'll go out to the stars and connect, and we'll bring all that light and wisdom down and in. And the Earth is at your back the whole time. I mean, the image of that. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. So I created a podcast I'm going to look this card up so I can read it to you. It's 17, not 12, sorry. I created a podcast on Thursday, and the title of it is Let's Talk About Gaia. So Gaia, if you are not familiar with that name, Gaia is I believe, the name of the consciousness of our planet. So the energy that sits behind the physical structure of our planet, the soul that is embodied in the planet itself, her name, I call it a her, energy is Gaia. And so I said, let's talk about Gaia. And I offered all of my wisdom and downloads and information about Gaia today. Not Gaia of the old, Gaia today. It's beautiful. It's an incredible transmission of energy. And so I'm trying to figure out how to read this too. And so maybe listen to Let's Talk About Gaia. It's Gaia's Love podcast from Thursday. You can find it on my YouTube and Instagram. and you can hear what I say about Gaia. Kind of like the homework you have to go to Chris Ann's website and look up the Six of Pentacles, and then you can go and listen to me talk about Gaia. All kinds of homework. That's what happens. All right, here is what this card says. This is so beautiful. And this again connects to sharing, right? It was how do we learn more, understand more about sharing as the highest possibility for the next lunar cycle? Earth. Earth represents the gift of life. The symbol on this card refers to the body of the planet Earth, the human body, and nature herself. We're reminded by the symbol that all creatures are born of the earth, and human beings are the stewards of all life on this planet. It refers to what we make of it, our health, wealth, security, grounding, solidity, and stability. It reminds us that the world of form is a gift from spirit and needs to be treated with respect. I love when it like nails it, just as I feel it. The invitation. When the earth symbol appears, it represents a need to focus on reverence and appreciation. I use that word in my podcast, reverence and appreciation for the natural gifts that are coming to you now and always. The concrete world you inhabit is there by the grace of spirit, and you are part of it. Much can be accomplished now when you focus on compassionate, reverent service to the world, sharing, when you focus on sharing. If you act with integrity, gratitude, and humility, you will find yourself more prosperous than you can imagine. Success is assured when the earth appears as an invitation. You guys, our guides are like, Leo, spotlight. We're going to give it to you as clearly as we can. Do you want us to spell it out? Here it is. The medicine. Do you feel ungrounded or easily thrown off your path lately? It is time to focus on what nurtures you, to open yourself to the healing of Mother Earth and see the abundant world around you. Perhaps you have lost the ability to trust that your needs will be met and have fallen prey to poverty consciousness. I mean, this card. Perhaps you have not been eating well, you've been overworked and stressed, and you have forgotten to breathe in the beauty of your surroundings. When the spirit of earth comes as your medicine, you're being reminded that when you practice self-care, take a walk in nature, and focus on the consciousness of abundance, miracles can and do happen. You guys, like, what? Okay, Alberto Villoldo, Colette Barron Reed, and Marcela Lobos. You nailed it. That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah. I mean, what else do you want? What else do you want? I feel like our guys are just going, do you get it? Did you get the message? It's like, we have turned on this light and we're communicating to you. Did you get the message? So good. So good. So good. All right. So those are all the cards. I don't need to review them. You've got the message. They're amazing. I'm going to go create a meditation, a new moon meditation, which will tap into going with the flow. Maybe the new vision. I feel like it's much more about going with the flow, knowing that we're moving towards this place of sharing, because that's the highest possibility. So I'm going to make a meditation. The exchange for that is $11. You can find that on my website, in my store, mysouljourney.com, in my store. Yeah, you've got homework, right? Go check out the card and then watch the Let's Talk About Gaia podcast and see what comes up. Part of your new vision is going to flow from what you gather from this video you've just watched and these other resources that I've offered. So tap into them and then allow your new vision. It's like the new vision is in you. You are stepping into yourself as the new vision. And so it's going to come from within. You're going to be squeezed, or maybe you're done being squeezed. Maybe you're like, I've been in this boa constrictor for like 2 years, 1 year, my whole life. I'm done with a boa constrictor. Rah. It's like when Superman when he lifts the car right at the beginning. Isn't he a little boy and he lifts the car? You can do superhuman feats when you are just done, right? Miracles can and do happen. It comes from in here. So play with all of this information. Play with it. Enjoy it. See what happens. Yeah. Yeah. And then if you get to this place where you're like, I think I know. I think I know what this is, but I need someone else to like witness it and like tell me what's actually happening here. Set up a session. Set up a session and let's see what's going on. Because that is the cool play. All right. Happy new moon in Leo. Happy 8/8. So much love.